For Dr. Dave Dawson, the director of that institute. Make them welcome. Yes. So, okay, as she comes, give her more vibe again.
Thank you very much, MC. Okay. As the University of the West Indies Press, it is our distinct privilege to celebrate 20 years of In and Dancehall by Donna, a book that exemplifies the very best of what scholarly publishing can achieve. We not only celebrate a book, we honor a work that has moved deliberately and unapologetically between two worlds. In the Dancehall stands as a powerful example of what it means for scholarship to meet culture where it lives. At the UWI Press, our mission has always been to publish scholarship that matters, work that is rigorous but relevant, grounded in research yet attuned to the realities of the Caribbean and its global diaspora. The Dancehall embodies that mission. It bridges the space between academia and popular culture without compromising either. And in doing so, it invites a broader audience into conversations that might otherwise remain confined to academia. Dancehall, as we know, is not just music. It is language, it is fashion, it is performance, it is resistance, it is aspiration, a dynamic cultural force that shapes and reflects society and issues of identity, power, gender, and aspiration. The Dancehall captures this complexity and gives us the tools to understand not only the culture itself, but the broader social realities from which it emerges, questions of class, gender, power, and agency. For us as a publisher at UWI Press, though this book represents something more, it signals what is possible when we trust Caribbean voices to interpret Caribbean realities on our own terms. It demonstrates that our cultural expressions are not just peripheral to scholarship, they are central to it. And it reminds us that when academic books engage meaningfully with popular culture, they don't lose authority, they gain relevance, they gain reach, and the all popular word these days, impact. When we support work that is both intellectually rigorous and culturally resonant, we expand the reach and the impact of knowledge. We affirm that our stories, our cultural forms, and our ways of knowing are worthy of deep engagement and global attention. Thank you. 20 years on, the significance of this work in the dancehall has not faded. If anything, it has grown. The conversations around dancehall, its influence, its contradictions, its global reach have only intensified. And this book remains a foundation upon which so much subsequent scholarship and public discourse has been built. The University of the West Indies Press joins the chorus of congratulations to Professor Hope for this remarkable contribution, and we reaffirm our commitment to publishing work that speaks with equal power, clarity, and cultural resonance. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Wagwan popcorn. It's dancehall, so you know, that's that. Donna, this event could not have happened without people like Lloyd, King Johnny James, and of course, the amazing Reverend Jack Sower.
Yeah, right here. Oh, yeah.
Jesus, man. Jack Sower,
Yeah.
the man of the moment. This is one of the men who put video to dancehall culture. Yeah, let's hear it for Jack Sower. Okay, good evening, everyone. All right, Professor Hope and Professor Cooper. It's my distinct pleasure on behalf of Dr. Goss to welcome you to this special celebration marking the 20th anniversary of Professor Donna P. Hope's landmark publication, Inner the Dancer. Tonight is more than a commemoration of a book. It is a recognition of a major intellectual intervention into the study of Jamaican popular culture, dancehall, gender, identity, class, performance, and the lived realities of our people. When Inner the Dancehall entered the public and academic space, it helped to shift the conversation. It insisted that dancehall was not merely entertainment, not merely noise, not merely controversy, but a serious cultural text worthy of deep scholarly attention. Professor Hope's work opened doors. It gave students, researchers, cultural workers, policymakers, artists, sound system man, video man, nobody ready for the video like you, and the wider public a language through which a better understanding of the dancehall space could be imagined. It examined the tension, contradictions, creativity, resistance, sexuality, style, and the survival strategies embedded in dancehall culture. In doing so, it helped to legitimize an area of Jamaican life that had often been dismissed, misunderstood, and viewed only through the lens of moral panic, aka the noise of being entered. For the University of the West Indies and the wider Caribbean intellectual community, this publication stands as part of a broader project, a serious study of ourselves. It reminds us that the academy must not stand apart from the people. Remember, we must not stand apart from the people, but must listen to the street, the sound system, the dance, the studio, the community, and the voices that shape our national and regional imagination. Tonight, we honor not only the book, but also the scholar behind it. Professor Hope has been courageous, consistent, committed to her work. She has helped to carve out a space for dancehall studies, popular culture studies, and cultural analysis rooted in Jamaican experience. Her scholarship reminds us that culture is not peripheral. It is the culture jackass. They always say it's the economy stupid, but we say it's the culture jackass. And it's not peripheral to our development. It is central to how we understand power, belonging, aspiration, and identity. To Professor Hope, we say congratulations. Big up yourself, dancehall queen. Your work has inspired generations of students and scholars, including myself. It has challenged assumptions, expanded the boundaries of Caribbean cultural studies, and affirmed the importance of taking Jamaican popular culture seriously on its own terms. To our guests, colleagues, students, artists, friends, and members of the wider cultural community, welcome. Your presence here signals the importance of this historic moment and the continuing relevance of this work. May tonight's celebration be one of reflection, appreciation, lively conversation, and renewed commitment to the study and preservation of Jamaican culture in all its complexity. Thank you, welcome, and enjoy the evening.
The book, the dance hall, normally fetching quite a high price. But for tonight, there is a discounted price that the publishers will be offering. So for $3,920, you can have that book. So make sure that you get a copy as soon as you can, and we will give you some ideas about how that is possible during the course of the evening. Also, we have brought some treasures with us. There are some giveaways here, and we're going to be giving those out at certain point during the program. So, what is in the treasure box? There is a copy of Inner the Dance Hall. There's a copy of Reggae Stories. There's a copy of Dancehall Queen. There's a copy of Chicken Back Gravy. All right, so people may want that already. I can't tell you when you're gonna get it. So just be vigilant. Hold on there. There are 4 VIP passes to Bunny Striker Lee Museum Tour. Right? So all of those are up for grabs. And the first one is going. And I'm going to give you an easy start to gain one of these treasures. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, this event celebrates 20 years of Inner the Dance Hall. But what does the Act 20 represent? This year celebrates 20 years of Inner the Dance Hall. But what does Act 20 represent? If you can tell me that, one of these books will be yours. So I am awaiting that response. Is there a hand going up? Everybody look puzzled. Oh, should I repeat the question? This event celebrates 20 years of Inner the Dance Hall. Answer clear. But what does the Act 20 represent? No, we want a particular word with the 20. Huh? 20th anniversary. Who said that? Over here. Okay. The 20th anniversary. Yeah, that's English language for you. Right? So, who is that person? I heard that voice. Okay, and 2 hands over there, I heard 1 voice. Okay, come forward. Prof Hope, as she comes, could you just present her with the book, Reggae Stories? Oh, you want, listen. I can't promise you that the others are going to be easy, but I'll try. I'll try. I won't play the more semantics of the language. I'll try to see if I can just ask you a question. We are now at the remarks from the Honorable Olivia Babsy Grange. She's the Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. And doing so, deputizing for her is Mr. Philip Clark. Please make it welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. All right. I bring greetings, as was said before, on behalf of Honorable Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Minister Grange. She is unavoidably absent and sends her greetings to Professor Hope and the team at the University of West Indies. It is a pleasure to join you both in person and in spirit for Inner the Dancehall at 20 Legacy, Culture and Living Archive. Because tonight is not just an anniversary. This is a celebration of a movement, a sound, a space, a way of life. 20 years ago, Inner the Dancehall stepped forward and said something that many people were not ready to hear. That dancehall is not just vibes, it is voice, it is identity, it is power. Dancehall is where ghetto youth turn struggle into style, where language bends and remixes itself into poetry, where fashion, music, and attitude come together to tell Jamaica's story, raw, real, and unfiltered. And let's be honest, long before the world started studying dancehall, we were living it. From sound system culture to the global stage, dancehall has always been one of Jamaica's strongest cultural forces. It influences music, fashion, slang, and lifestyle across continents. And yet for years, it was misunderstood and sometimes pushed to the margins. So the work we honor tonight did something important. It said, take dancehall seriously. Not just as entertainment, but as a legitimate space of knowledge, creativity, and cultural expression. And today, we are seeing the results of that shift. Dancehall is now central to conversations about the creative economy. It is a driver of jobs, entrepreneurship, and global cultural exchange. It is a key pillar in how Brand Jamaica shows up on the world stage. As a ministry, we recognize that this culture, our culture, is not something to be sidelined. It is something to be invested in, protected, documented, and celebrated. And Minister Grange wants us to know that coming on street this year is something called the Cultural Development Fund, which will serve many purposes, but relevant to tonight, it will help to fund dancehall events and of course entrepreneurial ventures within that space. And also the ministry is collaborating with universities across Jamaica to start an institute which will have a curriculum which will be inclusive of dancehall, and many of the books that Professor Hope has written will be in the reading archive. That is why a living archive like this is so critical, because if we don't tell our stories and preserve our spaces, somebody else will tell it for us, and not always the right way. So tonight we celebrate the scholars, yes, but we also celebrate the selectors, the producers, the artists, the dancers, the promoters, the whole ecosystem that keeps dancehall alive and evolving. To all who have carried this culture forward, respect is due. And as we mark 20 years of this groundbreaking work, we also look ahead, because dancehall is not static. It is always becoming, always shifting, always creating something new. So the question is not just where we've been, but where we're going next. So on behalf of Minister Grange, I give thanks for the work, the legacy, and the vision, and I wish for you all a powerful and uplifting evening. Thank you.
At two ends of the continuum, I thought I'd give myself some trouble. So at two ends of the continuum, you have church over one and you have dance over the other. Shouldn't be so, but such it is. And I've always wondered why such a difference. Because they're actually quite similar, you know. When I think of like testimony in church, it's almost the same thing, you know, in dance hall, but you probably call it, you know, narrative of lived experience.
Right.
But it's really the same struggle, just different life. So it's interesting sometimes how we have separations, because really and truly we're always so similar. At this time we have an entertainer who is performing for us, and his name is Sahid. Make him welcome. Is he here? If not, we'll jump quickly to the introduction of the guest speaker. I'm sure in time we'll get to him. This is the UWI student coming to make this presentation or the introduction. Make welcome Ken Roberts.
So good evening. Good evening. Caroline Cooper. Caroline Cooper is Professor Emerita of Literary and Cultural Studies, University of the West Indies, Mona, Jamaica. She is the author of two influential academic books, Sound Clash, Jamaican Dancehall Culture at Large, 2004, and Noise is in the Blood, Orality, Gender, and the Vulgar Body of Jamaican Popular Culture, 1993. She is the editor of the award-winning essay collection Global Reggae, 2012. In the 1990s, Cooper wrote a weekly bilingual column for the Jamaican Observer on a wide range of contentious issues such as race, class, and gender politics. From 2009 to 2024, she was an equally controversial columnist for the Sunday Gleaner. For her outstanding work in the field of education, she was awarded the national honor, the Order of Distinction in the rank of Commander in 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, happy am I to introduce Professor Emerita Caroline.
Thanks for that warm introduction. I am delighted to have been asked by Professor Hope to formally participate in this celebration. After 2 decades, in the dancehall, popular culture and the politics of identity in Jamaica remains increased. No small accomplishment. It is a classic. The longevity of the book is a powerful affirmation of the high quality of the academic work Donna did so long ago. In my blurb for the first edition of the book, which was published by the University of West Indies Press, this is what I wrote. The author presents a lively, perceptive, first-hand account of the evolution of Jamaican dancehall culture. Combining scholarship and anecdotal evidence, Hope delineates a complex web of socioeconomic and political factors that shape cultural identity in the marginalized working class communities, out of which contemporary popular culture arises. Before the book, there was Donna's MPhil thesis. It took her a mere 4 years to finish the degree. Just yesterday, we were lamenting the fact that so many graduate students at the University of West Indies Mona remain trapped in programs from which escape becomes increasingly impossible. 5, 10, 15, 20 years working on and off for a degree that is oftentimes not completed. We throw the car, the proverbial wisdom reminds us that when you throw a stone in a hot bin, the one that borrowed is the one that hit. Like many Jamaican proverbs, this one is metaphorical, it is not literal. I would not dare describe any of our graduate students as hogs. In fact, with a conscious advocate, I offer this advice based on his famous poem, If We Must Die, in which he deploys a most effective college simile. And to ensure that I don't get into trouble, I have changed hogs to another farm animal. If we must do a graduate degree as movie, let it not be like cattle, spotted and pegged in an inglorious spot. Let us nobly face the task ahead, working diligently on schedule, not taking self-indulgent leaves of absence, so that our precious time may not be wasted. Oh, fellow students, we must meet the common foe. Procrastination, the thief of time. Then, even the most demanding supervisor will honor us for the sophistication of our research and the speed with which we complete our degree. Before us, opportunities will arise, and we shall claim the rewards of our hard labor. The UE Press may publish our outstanding thesis, and decades later, when it remains in print, we will celebrate our lasting legacy. I'm not a political scientist. I daringly accept the request of the Department of Government to be one of the examiners of Donna's MPhil thesis. As you heard in that blurb to the book, which evolved from that thesis, I knew that Donna's work was exceptional in more ways than one. As far as I can tell, this was the first graduate thesis at the University of the West Indies in which the title was in the Jamaican language, and most appropriately so. The first AI informant observed that, quote, a strong thesis title is clear, concise, 5 to 15 words, and informative, accurately reflecting the study's core topic, key findings, or methods. It should contain relevant keywords with discoverability and often uses a two-part structure with a colon to blend a catchy hook with essential research details. The title of Donna's thesis, which she retained for the book, was certainly a catchy hook. In an answer, not a quotation from some seemingly authoritative source speaking in Jamaican. It is the voice of the author herself. Donna's choice of language for the title of the book signifies her identification with the subjects of her study. Dancehall culture is rooted in the everyday speech of urban Jamaica. The lyrics of the DJs are in Jamaica. The language of the audience is Jamaican. The world of dancehall culture is a celebration of the heart language of most Jamaicans. The ruling elite of both political parties have failed to acknowledge Jamaican as an official language in this its country of origin. Nevertheless, Jamaican is a language in which most of us live and move and have our being in and outside of the dancehall. Donna's thesis was also exceptional because of the subject itself. 2 decades ago, dancehall culture was not yet generally regarded as worthy of serious academic attention. My own pioneering essay, Slackness Hiding from Culture, Erotic Pain in Dancehall, published in Jamaica Journal almost 4 decades ago, was presented as a paper at the 1989 conference of the UK Society for Italian Studies. Though it was largely well received, there was some skepticism about the literary value I had placed on the lyrics produced in the Jamaican vernacular by supposedly illiterate DJs. That never started. A single essay could have passed scrutiny, but an entire MPhil thesis on dancehall, that was another matter. In 1997, when Donna began her graduate degree program at the Department of Government, dancehall culture would certainly not have been readily acknowledged as an appropriate field of inquiry for an MPhil thesis. Donna was most fortunate that her primary supervisor, Professor Rupert Lewis, and his pro-tem, Professor Anthony Bowles, were both Garvey scholars who fully understood the emancipatory politics of popular culture. They knew that dancehall culture was a manifestation of working class creativity that could not be dismissed and excluded from the academy. In other dancehall promised to take uninitiated readers into an unfamiliar world. Donna assumed the responsibility of tour guide, offering to give an insider's view of dancehall culture for a relatively small fee, the cost of the book. In 2006, it was $950. The current cost is $5,600, and you're getting a 30% discount this weekend. Based on just the dollar figure, it would seem as if the current price is almost 6 times the original, from $950 to $5,600. But taking into account the steady devaluation of the Jamaican dollar, the disparity cost is not as high as we might imagine. In 2006, 90 Jamaican dollars was equivalent of US 1450 to 1550, with the exchange rate fluctuating between 64.5 and 65.74. Currently, $1 is approximately 156.8 Jamaican dollars. So $5,600, they really do the max, is approximately US 35.42. Now, I must say, big respects to the media black press for not raising the cost of their books excessively. The current regular cost of dollars book in US dollars is only a little over double the original cost. I don't know how the press does it, but we respect it. Many outsiders then I know dismiss dancehall culture as vulgarly incorrect, but it is nevertheless voyeuristically enticing. As Peter Stalibas and Alan White argue in their book, The Politics and Poetics of Transgression, quote, disgust always bears the imprint of desire. And disgust always bears the imprint of desire. So what you have to do is this question is probably not the way you are. For insiders, Donna's invitation to go in the dancehall was an affirmation of the value of an arena in which they could find relief from the everyday trauma of surviving on the margins of Jamaican society. But some insiders were suspicious of her project. In her engaging preface to the book, Donna discloses the complex insider-outsider position she occupied. Quote, many of my early interviewees regarded me as a middle-class, university-educated professional. In the rigid classroom morass of Jamaican life, this perception generated responses and actions that reflected my respondents beyond their roles in opposition and deference to my authority. Negotiating the tension between opposition and deference, between insider and outsider, was a protracted struggle. This is how Donna put it. I developed a necessary kind of schizophrenic personality that bordered on a kind of sacred insanity. Here I would enter the dance hall to participate and observe in a state of almost full objectivity without being judgmental or biased. On leaving the field, I could freely revert to full research identity and deeply document and analyze again in a state of near objectivity. The price of this schizophrenic activity was high. It is now difficult for me to attend any dance hall event without automatically putting on my researcher lens. I consider the outcome, however, well worth the price. By 1997, when Ghana started her MPhil, there were hoping signs that academic work on dancehall would soon no longer demand that researchers assume a necessary kind of schizophrenic personality. The Reggae Studies unit had already been established in the Institute of Academic Studies. The unit was conceived as a focal point for multidisciplinary research on technical popular music at the University of the West Indies. Though the reach of the unit may not have already extended into the Faculty of Social Sciences, Jamaican popular music had entered the academy and was claiming space. In 1995, the Reggae Studies unit then branded the International Reggae Studies Center before it was cut down to size. Collaborated with the Bob Marley Foundation to host a symposium marking the reggae icon's 50th birthday. The papers of that symposium conferred a substantive scholarship in the emerging field of reggae studies. Garth White's Romance, Rebellion, Religion, Manners, Musical Mix, Night Vibrations, Capital Sexual Hegemony, and Bob Marley, Breadcrumbs, Johnny Leonardo, Bob Marley's Legacy and Reggae Culture in Australia and New Zealand were excellent examples of academic research on Jamaican popular music and young and abroad. Consistently reverting to full research identity after leaving the dancehall. Donna expertly managed the sacred insanity and her schizophrenic avalanche work in gender. In the dancehall, who simply delineates the categories or typologies of affectors and affectees as she put it in the dancehall. Though many of the actors have moved off the stage and been replaced in the last 2 decades, the categories have remained constant. The affectors creators and the affectees consumers of dancehall culture. The affectors are sound creators, as we see from the performers, sound system operators, promoters, producers, dynamic hype creators, visual creators, and of course the DJs. Then there are the consumers, categorized by gender. This hotty, this bold, this thing, and the woman. Male categories are the young youth, the young chatter, the freak behind type, the big man, dance fan, and heavy man. Donna argues that all the related fields of gender and sexuality run through the control typologies of dancehall effectors and things. I will not disclose any more details about inner dancehall appearance. Those of you who have read the book already know the full range of insights dramas. And I don't want to spoil the pleasure for those who have not yet followed that in the dancehall. A word of excitement always. Now, congratulations to President Donald Trump on this occasion of celebration. And we know that as email address is DP. The dancehall is. We know, I enough respect Queen Thursday for the lasting legacy of your path-breaking book in the dancehall, Jamaican popular culture, and the politics of identity in Jamaica.
So we heard from the scholar. And the beautiful thing about an evening like this, you hear from the scholar, and you're also going to hear from the practitioner. So we have a performer that is coming at this time, and once I can locate the name, I will announce. Please give love and support to Candy Price, dancehall artist.
Hi, good night. Good night. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my background. All of these, most like hard and garrison I get up and shoot that community. But they always make the communities. And it's my pleasure to be here. Yes, your whole family in the event. So one time we take them out and all the community will come from. Just mash up the tea like I will then go away from glass and hold no shots and each with a she's a drop and no flop, it's a pretty number, it's the turn for a hand, it's the lightning to progress and the inner section, mama put a red bar, it's the big cheap with the black, give the broken that, it's cool and top, remember when the whole picture, it was a whole picture, mama put a food, the 40 shots, funeral day was a grand wood bar, when Maxine asked, pregnant Jack, the Jack know it was a good that, she back, and Annie back at that, Mummy said she now come back, and all I see many days, many days, say things you but never been, I see many days, say things you but never been. You could imagine, and when this crap so like a bomber jump, it is to back and the first one that it is so they are not the earth so yeah. It go be like it's a first one and it's the first one that is where the first one back. The new time with the dance goes up, when the family and the cashier goes up, she didn't say my power that can't come back. Nah, come back. They can't give you that chance. Yeah, can't give you that's a and this is how we want now. This is how we want now. Hey, say, hey, this different something them never heard. This style with them away from me, a lucky city and a we a lucky acre. Don't mess with the paper. Say they only know we set a shop for paper, like a nasty picture. Me no really care for me in a Benz and a feature I say, I go the era and Chevron. See the beauty of the era. We want Richard and Chevron. Say the beauty of the I go the era. Chevron. Me Balenciaga, me Prada. Gucci, Zara, Alexander McQueen, our Rihanna, every ice them out here in Nagada. I'm never good to them, never good to. Every good about the Kuno. Frankie Chap, the Benz watching boom. Maxine, one time is a good move. Hey, Chevron, see every youth come here. We want Richard and Ferrer, a Chevron. New school artists, we kind of have the old school laugh. You understand? Yeah. So you want to sing it. Yeah. So, I remember when we walk, and then we can be forced, and then we can be class, and we never find time. People are young, they know where we fall, they know where we are, what's our side, and what you're teaching up around, what you're teaching about to break out, what you're teaching that I was, black up, what you're teaching about, big what you're teaching, what you're teaching about, angels, what you're teaching that I was, black up, what you're teaching about, pick up all day, and watch it, they can see it flow. When I let no bad like me, she grow, cross from the neck and let no bad like me, she grow, when you break it. said, oh gosh. I like this one. I can do one more song for you. Can I do one more song for you? See what I feel today. Hey, Francis. Hey, General D. You have to say this. Sign it. Alright then. Watch it then. Maybe for you. Oh. Show. You know. Oh. Get the price on the show. You understand? Me make me money talk to me. Now answer no call. Who you wanna see me? Me that talk to me. Get me and cheap and cook no billy. One bank call the bank to me rich from Billy. Grandpa me so big now but me not no Billy. Rich long time from two pack of Billy. Some shot corners, corners like Billy. She one of them and of them. They're dead. You know, figure out the price of everything. Anyway,
Big up Kelly. Kelly Price. Look down quick though. Look down quick. Thank you. We come to another giveaway from the Treasure Trove. And I promise you a question. Now we have some VIP tickets from the Bodily Museum, and I'm giving away batches of 2. So I'm giving away 2 tickets at this time. And the question is, which album did Bonnie Striker Lee receive his last Grammy for? I was surprised by the answer, Which album did Bonnie Striker Lee receive his last Grammy for? If I feel it, I'll Google it. Well, I'm going to tell you. So we're going to hold on that one. All right, so for another book from the Treasure Trove, name one member of the panel discussion tonight. All right, so you got that one. Yeah, man. Come forward. You're getting the book Chicken Back Gravy and Such Delights. Again, presented by Professor Hope herself. You have the book already? Oh, she don't have the book. Or if she have it, you want it still? Okay. So we talked about theory meeting practice. We have another entertainment piece coming up. Sanjay and Dancehall all stars. Are you ready? All right, make them welcome. Sanjay and Dancehall all stars. No sir. Sanjay and Dancehall all stars. All right, go.
Dancehall. Dancehall. 20 years. Watch the style, your pros. Yo, what's a dance? What's a dance? What's a dance? Everybody be a move from out of rat. Move on. Flick the walls and tell her the pros. Swagger back there. at you. And the internet will be sent shot at you. Then we can do like you, shot who, whatever the point, mind at you, boys. Oh, what's a dance? Everybody was a dance. Everybody be a move to water. Group one, go finish the marks and tell us the boys. What upon there, what upon there, if you say we got not there, it's another but one of the poor. Don't need more money just for which I'm like. Whatever arrives, every time the BSP cheers like a little time. Like figure me. No matter which time I try to figure me, they want predicted, one of bigger dreams, stressed up and they would end up in a river stream. What's a dance? What's a dance? Everybody what's a dance? Everybody put your move to what I'm about. Do one. You're feeling the marks and tell them. First of all, big up to Professor Donna Hope. 20 years of anything. Yeah, man. Big up to Professor Donna Hope. 20 years of anything is a huge accomplishment. We don't know. And it's an honor to be here to celebrate the moment right now, so. We are going to go back in our catalog as well too, so walk you through some of the dancing Sunday. Early, hey, yo, we stand there, Pele, take your back, just say easy more, Pele, what is up, Pele, no, the remix, Pele, we are star of the Pele, girl, see me call for Pele, what is up, Pele, when you got what I'm saying, say, you see, confidence is very important. Don't make one for IQ. Oh, Jesus, hide yourself, 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 you might like yourself. Hey, hide yourself, don't hide yourself. Real fat boy, like yourself, people you like nobody else, hide yourself. Go with the one and the fight yourself. Hey, hide yourself, hide yourself, looking at the mirror, push yourself, hide yourself, hide yourself. No one in hot track. Hide yourself, not the one you do, yeah. Hide yourself. It's not for that much confidence. You have to have the right attitude that's going through. Ready? Hey. We feel good today, yeah. On top of yeah. Feel good today. Feel good. Spread love like we should. Everything I get. Thumbs up. Keep a thumbs up. Pass. Step with it. Dash. Big up Shelly. Big up Dark Star. Hey! Punch. Everybody go. Push. Everybody hold the groove. Box. Stop the ball. Represent the real people. Which are the good times and the bad times, high time and low time. If you have somebody in your life where you don't say, the real talk, I want that for you. Alright. So me always have to remember to promise that I hope the mind starts to see the way I live my life. life, always trying to be the kind of man where she can recline upon, show her problems and her strife, cause I know that one day I'm gonna need the same. I won't run away, girl, I'll share your pain, though some say anything in life can change. I know one thing will stay the same. I will be the man of power. I promise you that this much is true, girl. A man of power. So what I say is what I'm gonna do, yeah, cause I'm a man of power. I said I'll always be right there for you, and I'm a man of that's why we try to live a life. I trust in the divine, I trust we have integrity. I must have words can define us or define us. While God's words don't need power, so I just choose the words careful. Wolf or we are bull, but with honesty, you don't have to be. We are bull, take my advice. So long as we have life, I will be by your side. I will be the man of my word. Promise you that this much is true, girl. Man of my word. The last track now, as we said, I'm a man of your word. You have to prioritize, have to value things like integrity and everything. So we represent for the real people in the car. We're not bad man, we're not chopper. We're real youth, we represent for the real people. And sometimes the real youth can walk alone the road. Still genuine, most people only love you when you win. Sometimes I feel like the last real one play. The last real one play. Yes, the last real one play. Sometimes I feel like the last real you play. But anyway, most people only love you when you win. People try to do so that people tell the things. They want to tell them when encouraging. You see, 2 o'clock on the dot after midnight. Empty words in your insides. I know everything you can keep inside. Truth of your heart in time. Real people trotting on the road. Integrity, the only code. The thought code with a heart full of showing doors. Keep 2 force like a code close. Look at the real thing, I see now I'm there. Talk some real things, but everybody there. This like play a different frequency. This really stand we like the last frequency. The last frequency. You don't want to feel like last one sometimes. Right now, God forgive one of them building this up, burning them a fire start. Before people run go ahead, you know them too? Take out them 4. So you know what tell me, sir? Hey, social media make it all about the likes, all about the feeders, all about the likes, all about attention, all about the hype. That balance the life, cause none of them to check for real people again. Then they wonder why them have some evil as friend. Money are the principle, but eating for them, but an end will be evil and lend. Cause we see the real and we see the fakes. Maybe God not cover grass and see the snakes. Right now we're hard hurt for the crates. We sacrifice the food empty plates. Like the last real one there. The last real one there. Another thing too, nowadays, nobody no respect you for who you be or your character. You know the respect you for what you have, what you achieve. You know that tell me, sir? We see it clear. People don't respect people, they respect popular. Start elevate your own friends who you're not happy for. Reach them to them with them contractual. For rifles, tell them act better. On a legend, everybody want the 18. Just you being at the C class on DC. And BC, spend D green. But when the green turn red, they're missing. Nowadays, everybody the artist, so not for them need we got art some artists. So respect the craft if you want it, stop with you. Stop supporting for it. So we like the last real one there. Last real one there. Last real one there. So we like the last real you there. Gonna hold the last few ones there.
We're not hearing you, So, before we still open, anybody want to freestyle a lyrics, want to freestyle a dance? You've been dying for your moment to shine. And this could be it. Anybody going once, twice, I can let Carla, let you talk. All right. So we have another giveaway. Anybody else find anything on Google? Still can't find it. gonna disappoint me now, man. The things are not good for a search engine. Flimsy. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, no. Okay, which album did Bonnie Striker Lee receive his latest Grammy for? Album. But the next question is, all right, this is an easy one, however. Don't all rush at one time. It's an easy one now. From the treasure trove, this is yours. Are you ready? Hear this one now. What is the name of the book we are celebrating tonight? I said I had the book first. Yes? Let me see if it's all right. What you are saying? Give some more attitude. All right, come Prof. Prof. Cooper, could you please present to her this book? You can present it here. So I have one more book and the VIP tickets left. So please, after this, so please make sure you're getting yourself ready, amped up for the next round. Well done to the winner of that. We move now to the introduction of the author. We ask Janema Clement, she's a UWI student, to come forward and do so. Make her welcome.
Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? So hard to get with Uncle Nate. Are we good? Okay, great. It's truly an honor to introduce my professor for the past 4 years. Professor Donna P. Hope is a cultural studies scholar, author, educator, public speaker, and advocate for the Caribbean music, gender, and identity. She is a PhD, she has a PhD and is a distinguished academic author and cultural analysis, specializing in Caribbean popular music with a strong focus on music, gender, identity, and socio-political dynamics. She is a tenured professor of culture, gender, and society at the University of the West Indies, Mona, where she has dedicated her career since 1996 to researching, teaching, and the mentorship of people like me. She's a former director of the Institute of Caribbean Studies, a former deputy dean of the Graduate Studies and Research in the faculty. She's also currently the coordinator of the Graduate Studies in the Institute of Caribbean Studies. An accomplished researcher and author, she has written hundreds of articles, journals, newspapers, and magazines, and has also contributed to many others. She has published 7 books, including the celebrated In a Dance Hall, Popular Culture and the Politics of Identity in Jamaica, Dancehall Queen, Erotic Subversion or Subversion Erotica, Man Vibes, Masculinities in the Jamaican Dancehall, and Reggae Stories, Jamaican Musical Legends and the Cultural Legacies. Her research and writings have contributed significantly to the discussions on dancehall, reggae, gender, masculinity, and the impacts of music on the Caribbean identity and global cultural trends. A renowned Jamaican cultural activist, Professor Hope maintains a strong network inside Jamaica's dancehall culture and advocate and continue to advocate on behalf of dancehall players in various forms. She is currently finalizing her poetry monograph entitled These Thorns Have Roses for publication and completing the final draft for her manuscript on the spread of dancehall dance industry under the title Dancehall's Scattered Children. In addition to this, her work on transition in Afro-Caribbean gender structures, tentatively titled Transitory Masculinities. As the current president of the Caribbean Studies Association, the CSA, for the period 2025 to 2026, she is currently planning the 50th annual CSA conference for June 1st to 5th, 2016 in Kingston, Jamaica, under the theme Caribbean Vibes and Vibration, Cultural Identity and Development in Transformative Times. A Fulbright scholarship, Professor Hope earned her PhD in Cultural Studies from George Mason University after completing her Bachelor of Arts in Mass Communication with a first-class honors and her Master's in Philosophy in Political Science at the University of the West Indies, Mona. I ask you to stand on your feet and put your hands together for the well-spoken, the literate, the queen, the well-dressed, the queen, my queen, dancehall queen, your professor, or professor, my professor, Donna Hope.
Thank you, Goody. Thank you. But I have to say it that way because we're still in the dance. So thank you so much, Jenny. And of course, I'm always grateful to these kind of spaces, with people who I love and who love dancehall, and of course what we do at the University of the West Indies. And so, before I begin, I want to of course recognize the presence of persons here, presence of my ancestors, my family, friends, fans, mentors, my colleagues, students, present here in person, and also those who are joining us online by YouTube, and of course those who are present in the spirit, because of course this is a very spiritual moment. And one of the things that I'm going to do, I'm going to ground, but take off my shoes, because on this wooden floor, which I love very much, I have to ground as I go through my reflections. And so I want to begin with the dedication of the book, In the Dance Hall, for those of you who have a copy. This is for my son, Bertrand, and that stream is showing some of these persons. And Mama, Edith Henry, July 1928 to August 2002. Rivers alone move. Rivers alone move where they are coming from. And so it's a profound honor for me to stand here this evening, 20 years after the publication of my first book, The Dance Hall, and the date was April 6, 2006, when we had that launch. Burning a career, set of relationships, and what I have as a very deep commitment to understanding Jamaican culture on its own terms, and that's very important for me in my work. So this evening, I want to underscore the fact that this event here, I did at 20, all the letter of gratitude to that woman here, Caroline Cooper. Why do I say this? Even though I have spoken with Christine Randall and Karen Smith of the Press, and we were planning an event, because of the work I'm doing on the Caribbean Studies Association conference, I cannot say, I'm not going to follow it. There's a lot of work to put together an event, however large or however small. And so speaking with Caroline, I said to her, Caroline, I won't be bothered with, and Caroline said, no, Caroline already, but I think I'm something. She said, 20 years of a book, and the book is still being sold, and still being used, you have to have something. Which I'm confessing now. And so I worked with my team and put together this event. But Caroline Cooper is the person who pushed me over the edge to say, let us move to the event. And so, plan something, man, we plan something, and here we are. No, thank you, Caroline. Always. Okay. So I want to begin with that story, and my students who are here and online who I love to tell stories. I come from a space where culture
was not abstract, it was lived, it was heard, and it was felt, it was argued, and it was embodied. It existed in sound systems, in community gatherings, and in the everyday negotiations of life in Jamaica. So long before I entered formal academic spaces like University of the West Indies, beginning with this very faculty where I did my first degree, Faculty of Humanities and Education, it was called Faculty of Arts and General Studies, and we call it FADS. I'm not answering you, this is the faculty history. Polly, am I wrong or am I wrong? But long before I entered these academic spaces, I was already encountering the textures of what we would later learn, we would call something called popular culture. But at that time, for people like myself and many others, it was just simply about life. And so, at places like Club Jamaica in Lindsay, and there are people in this room who remember these things, round robins at the corner shops, at Renaissance Splash before we went on to celebrate, talking about history, at Sting. I remember being at Sting 1990, we were sitting in the dance hall and we behaved very badly, and God will rest in peace. Did not forgive us. You can read about that. At sound system parties, listening to Stone Love, Metro Media Sound, Super D, Silver Arc Sound, Pieces, Jaro Sound, Kilimanjaro, BS Odyssey Sound, we can call out a lot of them from that time. Road Star, many others. And so there are people in this room who have walked some of these spaces with me. And I want to acknowledge a friend here with me. She has been my friend since I was 11 years old, Carly, son of all of your arm. That lady has been my friend since I was 11 years old. And she has walked through a lot of these spaces with me and has behaved badly with me in some of these spaces as we move to what we then learned in the future, what we call popular culture. But when I moved into academia and began my work and my research, one of the things that I became increasingly aware of was a kind of disconnect, a distance between the lived vibrancy of Jamaican culture and the kind of cultural expressions that we were living through, and the ways in which the knowledge about this culture was being produced, the ways it was being validated, and the ways it was being acknowledged. There were a lot of silences around many of these spaces, and there were a lot of absences, and of course, there were many entirety of worlds of meaning that were either misunderstood or dismissed. So when I began the Masters of Philosophy Research in Political Science in the Department of Government, that would lay the foundation for this book in 1997, as Carmen told you, her chapter in that book called Noises in the Blood, 1993, stood as a signpost. We never really have nothing else. And that's a very important part of what was happening at that time in Jamaica. Aside from the work of journalists, many journalists at the Gleaner, the Star newspaper, magazines like Buzz Magazine, X News, we had nothing to draw on that was written and documented. And so in the dancehall emerged from that tension, it emerged from that yawning desert of documented and research work that was necessary. And so in the dancehall was the project as an MPhil project, an attempt to close the gap, to insist that dancehall was worthy of serious attention, not as spectacle, but also as a critical site of identity formation, of power, creativity, and social negotiation. And I'm speaking as someone who is living within this space and understanding it from the inside out. So it was also an attempt to listen very carefully and to take seriously the voices, the performances, and all that was happening, the contradictions that define the culture. It was also an attempt to locate myself and my friends, my family, and those people who spent time with me whining and dancing multiple cares away in these cathartic spaces that we call the dance hall. And so, yes, it was an attempt to position all of us in these, as creators, key creators, and consumers of this culture. And I wrote a lot of books that spoke a little about that effectively positioning all of these individuals that I saw and knew and loved inside of the dance hall within a body of research. And so to argue in that work that who we are and that what we had to say about ourselves was valid, was legitimate, and was very Jamaican. It was very important. And I must say this very clearly, that the work in the dance hall was not mine alone. It's never been mine. As an insider, outsider in that cultural space, it was made possible by the kind of access that was given to me, by the level of trust that individuals who work in that space were allowed me into Their spaces often private, often guarded, and very meaningful spaces. So artists, selectors, dancers, community members, people open their worlds to me and allow me to observe, to listen and to learn. I remember coming from Linstead, St. Catherine, and many of these spaces are in the urban centers in Kingston. I'm not from Kingston, no, I'm a Kingstonian by default. I lived there long enough. People like Jackson, and I had to invite Jackson. So we pick up Jackson, original dancehall, with Jackson, early in dancehall, years. Allow me access. People like Carlin, dancehall Queen Carlin, who is on our way to Greece right now. Big up Queen Olga, BHQ Olga from Greece, Athens, the dancehall family has extended far and wide. Carlin is off to Greece, and many, many other persons who allow me to just build and chill and look and see and hold a vibe, learn and do the research. And for that, I remain profoundly grateful. What may I have to tell another little story? Caroline, I'm going to tell a piece of that story. It's a little interlude in the conversation. In a dance hall is a product of my MPhil in political science and the department of government. I was completed in 2001, and you'll see the document floating around my MPhil document. The front page of it that sits in the West Indies collection in the main library of this university in hard copy. I lived that research, and that document was titled In a Dance Hall, This Place, because I was theorizing about a particular kind of space, popular culture and ecological identity in Jamaica, we shortened it for the book. And so I spent countless hours in diverse dancehall locations, and I became an honorary member of the Dinner Company at North Street, because I had to spend a lot of hours, days, months, in their microfiche research location, because we couldn't live online during this 1997. So I had to go down there, t-shirts and jeans and sandals, and literally I would eat in the lunchroom. I became an honorary member there, because I had to be going through countless pages of newspapers, the Star, the Gleaner, to get the documentation that I needed to build this book out of nothing. It's very important. It was very painstaking, and I look back at those days fondly. 1997 to 2001, 4 years of my life, 263 pages that document was, but there's more. Now the book from this document, 2001 entered, the book was completed in 2006, in the same timeline as my PhD in cultural studies at George Mason University. So imagine this, I'm writing a PhD. This is a different document. It becomes a book called Man Vibes in 2010. And I'm living in Fairfax, Virginia in exile, as I wrote a poem called Exilia. And I defended that PhD on the 9th of March 2006. And on the 6th of April 2006, I launched In a Dance Hall. $267 pages for the PhD thesis dissertation, and 226 pages of a book. Why did I put myself through all of that? People in this room, most of you in this room, write term papers, you write thesis, you write dissertation, you write research paper and complete, so much you have done, 3,000 words. Work with me on this. These images, and some of the images are floating there, of the launch of the dance hall. If you look at my face, you can see my eyes are gone down in the holes. Yes, I was extremely tired, and those images evoke the kind of mental and physical fatigue at the cellular level that I was going through at that moment. But it was had to be done, because, and I stand there and writing, just thinking about this event, I got very emotional, because I had to reminisce on my why. Why was I doing that? And Carly talk about the sacred madness. The sacred madness had to descend on me during that timeline. A profound dementia born of a need to survive against significant odds. Because if I had not put myself through that 10 degrees of hellfire, 2 bouts of bronchitis during that period, as I remember, I would not be standing here tonight, 20 years later, to say I am the author of In the Dance Hall, with a career that spans beyond that because of what happened in that timeline. This book, my legacy, my best piece of work, my life's work, would have been played by someone else. Things were happening along the pathway in that timeline, And people had arrived in this very location as researchers of dancehall, talking about dancehall, and beginning a process of claiming books and a book was about to be published in an imminent timeline. And based on the rustles on water and the whispers on phone calls and something that was published, I was pressured to immediately publish the book from the Enfield. It became an immediate project. And so I remember having a conversation and the suggestion was if I delayed, I would lose that book. And these things have happened in the distant past. And so armed with the strength, and I remember that moment very clearly, armed with the strength of my beloved mama who had left me along the way in 2002, just before I left for the USA to do my PhD, I returned to the UA Press here in Kingston, Jamaica, and met with Donna, who was sitting in this room, and Linda Speck, who was the manager of the UA Press, and carved out a contract. Donna, stand up on the band. This woman. Yes. And so I carved out a contractual arrangement in 2004 for the publication of this book, and began working on the book. And Caroline, before I continue, I must pause. I never did know, so you examine at me and say, and thank you for that. And so, when I look at the pictures of the dance I was incredibly fatigued in that moment. I was on fumes, I would say, in Jamaica, but I prevailed, because today, 20 years later, that person who had an imminent publication on the horizon has never published a book on dancehall. And this is something that I look back on with a great deal of fondness. That moment in 2000, see that done on your head, that's me with my eyes down in the hole, and that's Omar Davis. That was a moment, a transitory moment for me. But even as I trod this pathway, I want to underscore for you, appropriation wears many faces. And I stand here in testimony. Guard your work, guard your creation, whether they are in document, whether they are in film, whether they are in song, whether they are in theater. Guard your work. Make sure that you protect what you have created. Own your creations and preserve your output. I hear too many stories of persons who have lost their intellectual property at the slip of a button. Be very careful. So now I want to underscore that to study dancehall is not to just go into it and analyze it. It is to enter into a relationship with it. And that relationship carries a great deal of responsibility. A responsibility to represent it very carefully, to represent it with honesty, and to interpret it ethically, and to always remain accountable to the people and practices that make dancehall culture, any culture, what it is. And always a responsibility to remain authentic. So even while you analyze and theorize and make all these statements, it is something that you're doing on behalf of many lives, people who are living through this culture. And so that is a responsibility that must ensure also that the original creators are validated and identified. And I find that a lot of times when we are going into cultures, people forget that there are original creators and forget to name names and identify those on whose backs these cultural products are created. Reminding all of us, both here and online, of that important responsibility. And that is a responsibility that I hold very dear. And it has called earlier by the few labels: dancehall defender, dancehall apologist. I hear this all the time. Dancehall activist. I wear them all proudly. I remain in a dancehall. So over the past 20 years, a lot has changed where research and writing is concerned, and where Jamaican music and dancehall is concerned. Dancehall has traveled far and wide on the backs and bodies of its creators, their vocations, lyrics and song and song, and in the pre and pose of the fashion and style, and of course in the explosion of dance and dance styles, as you saw with the dancehall all-stars here earlier. And of course in the wave of dancehall queens and DHQs, and the ever-present battle for space that continues and for life as it emerges. Dancehall has expanded far beyond Jamaica's borders, entering global circuits of music, fashion, dance, and digital culture. We see it on TikTok, TikTok, you see some Instagrams all over the internet, YouTube, and elsewhere. It has broken language barriers, moving across the borders of dancehall dance fraternity into Latin and South America, Europe, Asia, and beyond, taking on new names, dembow, reggaeton, raga, many others. It's history, but even more. As it moves, it continues to carry with it still the traces of its origins, the histories and the tensions, and the creative energies. It still speaks about this place, this land, and the people who are here. And it speaks about my culture, my bloodline, and my yard. And so, as we look at the movement of dancehall culture, Jamaican culture, we have to remind ourselves that documentation becomes critical and urgent. We must document more, and write more, and put more products in place. Because what does it mean to preserve a culture that is always evolving? What does it mean to archive something that lives in sound, in music, in movement, in performance, in fashion and style, in the fleeting moments of a dance that is choreographed and sometimes moved on from? So we have to expand our understanding of what it means to have an archive. An archive is not only a building. It is not only a hard collection of texts or objects. It is also found in the lyrics, in the songs, in the rhythms, in the dance moves, in the choreographies, in fashion, in memory. It exists in books, yes, and I will write many more books. I have several manuscripts on my laptop at home. But I don't want to flash the books, so I'm trying not to do that. You know, take a book and flash a book and kill it. But what will happen is that dancehall also exists in sound systems, in dancehall events, the weekly events, in the sessions, in the museums, like Striker Lee Museum, which we are supposed to win some tickets and do a visit on Burn Garden in the please go and visit that museum, because Striker Lee has created across his own lifetime more than his imprint is on more than 11,000 singles. That man has a massive catalog, and he has touched many lives. May I go to one question in reverse? All right. So then, to document culture is not just to fix it in place, you also have to engage with it, you have to trace it, and you have to make it visible to the very processes by which meaning is created and sustained. And that is one of the reasons why you see this DHAP going up there. I also created in April, and that was in April 2018, and we had a launch of the Dancehall Archive and Research Initiative to help with that documentation, digitally and otherwise, but we continue the work of documenting, archiving, researching, and writing. And so I call on everyone here in this space, whether here in vivo, live, online, and or here in this room. The work must continue through writing, through recording, through archiving in institutions, and I see Jan's here with us, and through the initiatives that recognize that what we're dealing with is not just something that is ephemeral in the sense of being insignificant, but ephemeral in the sense of being alive and organic. Culture is organic, it is dynamic, and this culture is alive, it lives. The challenge before us then is to ensure that this vibrant aliveness is not lost, and that these stories are told, they are preserved, and that these voices are heard, and that the complexity and vibrancy of this culture is not lost. Because remember, what we are really brokering on is memory, identity, and history. And so when I reflect on the legacy of the dancehall, and we see images here of students and myself in various locations, I do so with a great deal of humility. The dancehall has traveled. It has contributed to many, many conversations in popular culture, popular music, cultural studies, Caribbean cultural studies, gender studies, and others. But more importantly, it has been part of a broader effort, a very collective effort by many persons to take seriously the cultural forms through which individuals understand themselves, through which Jamaicans understand themselves and the world in which they live. And so I published many books, quite a few books, and built courses, taught many, many classes, and dancing many, many dancehall field trips with my students. Many, 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 since 2008. There's one of the picture up there, Pasa Pasa 2008. We have been all over the place with students and others. I've shared academic presentations all over the world and online, and of course the dancehall art. And this I consider to be the shape and form of my journey in the dance hall. Very important. And so what I hope to have done is to continue to build in this legacy of preserving and archiving our culture. Even more so, I hope that all of us here and online continue to value our culture, not just as expression, but also as knowledge, and that we continue to document it even as it continues to change before our very eyes. And of course, that we remain committed to engaging it with the depth of respect and the seriousness that it deserves. Researching in dancehall culture today, this is 2026, has become a more respected enterprise than when I started in 1997. They're not took you up so much like all they took me up so much. And Carlin took the biggest took them and then you come and get took up, you know. But you are more legitimized in the academy and in serious spaces when you do research on dancehall culture. And for that, I am grateful. And so I return to gratitude as I close. Rivers alone know where they are coming from, and I repay gratitude to those on whose backs I stand. Many, many names, too many to mention. My mother is on that slide somewhere. She departed before I completed these projects, but she's always with me in spirit and in truth. To many of my mentors who opened doors, like Professor Cooper, Professor Lois, many persons who are here and not here. I see Professor Claudia William, Donna Muirhead, Louis Press, many others, Georgia University, Massive, and others. And of course, with the extended dancehall massive that has exploded in Europe, Latin, and South America, to all the artists, the Virgin generally, for being here with us, and all the artists who are here. I pay gratitude to everyone, and I pay gratitude to those who continue to engage the culture, the popular culture, dancehall culture, and of course, gratitude to everyone who took time to be here with us this evening. I will remain, as always, in a dancehall. I thank you. Professor Book, I want to invite Donna Muirhead, who worked with you on this project. She's no longer with the press, but she's always with the press and of the press, to present just a small token celebrating in the dance hall at 20. The celebration belongs to Donna.
So we did say this evening is not a quick line, it's an event. And we are pivoting in just a bit. So I'm asking General B to stand by. You're coming up next, sir. No, the giveaways, I'm going to give you another answers. Which album did Bunny Strikely receive his last Grammy for? It was actually Coffee's Rapture. Yes. Right? No, a question was in Prof. Hope's address. She actually gave one of the responses. I hope you're onto it. What is the size of Bunny Strikely's catalog? Over 11,000. Yes, that's it. So please come forward for your two VIP tickets. And I have one more question quickly for the last book from the Treasure Trove. And so the question is, name 3 schools that Prof. Hope attended. Yes, sir.
George-based University in UWI and St. Jacobs.
Correct. Oh, well done. Well done. And I love the audience. The audience is helping out. That's a good vibe. Excellent. Come forward, sir. I'm going to ask Dr. Howard to make the presentation to the winner. And come forward as well, ma'am, for your tickets. I also have another one as well for, I'm going to throw in another one. There is a book by Professor Cooper, mentioned several times by several speakers in this room this evening. It's a seminal, it's a book with Jesus. All right. Okay, so hold on. The representative from the Bonnie Strackley Museum will do the next presentation to Khalid. Okay. Could you please give some love and support to those persons who are brave enough to participate? Well done. Now we have two activities to get done before we get on the way. Coming up next is General B, and we also have a King Jammy's special just before we move to the panel discussion. The next voice you'll hear after those performers will be the introduction of the panel by Dr. Candia Mitchell Hall, who will be the moderator. So, in that order, make them welcome. General B.
Hello, hold on. Now what I am, this I need to remember remix. Do not have to stay, it's after it. I don't please your control for basket. This is Gaza. Remember this, name gas, coming from the Patricia. Name gas, the mother, not the father. Name gas, coming from the Patricia. Me talk. Remember this. From yellow road, I am. Oh, probably never old. Oh, but no, it is not a prayer for the a long time, we are one of our never bird. And the making ones are multiply like a bird. And the making is a high grade bird. She get what she did. A long time, we are one hour time off, but at the end of it, a navigator, we had the mastermind to the some girl art. And now the woman who was nice to do something. I want to hear how they want a girl, make them friends. I don't know you want your man knowledge. To a feel right, feel first time. At night, it's dance, I don't know what to you look so good, your man does not cry for you. Be a go down with a carry feelings for you. And you look so good, here, no man, watch out. Don't, someone. Because I'm not here. Now that I see this, I can now buy a beer. At you, then come together too. And in a body to kill is them at you. Make all them stay in a visit ever. It's not Saya. I want to first number one. I want to win. It goes on. See, but they say, see, come in that man. Hey, say you like it, turn. It's never be home. And the brother like it, and then go. Yeah. Hey, turn so can't hear it. And we're finished tomorrow. I want to make sure that you don't feel anything. Everybody say, sing, when we say, come in that man, anything you say to the kid, for the kids you have one like you. man a say, sticky touch, sticky touch. The man a say, sticky touch, sticky touch. The man a say, sticky touch. With two licking on the stone, so I go good in now. Looking at the cabo, like so they go my couple of bars. I will take it up. I will check it out. Who might learn that? I want that to be sure reply. Save me, you go up, put it as a llama. No, Lord, take me, take them, and say, do the king. Different shot. Where are they? I know where I'm going to keep jamming. For pass. Yeah. Oh, this is a legend. Here's the kingdom in the prison and the location. Yeah. Play him again. Say, big up yourself. Big up Dancehall Queen University. Check the rock. Re-recognize me. Unaona. Mix. Say to our body now. There's no pants and there's no shirt. And can't pull up that again. Hey, the back. Start here big up yourself. Good performance, yo. One Jack Sour. Style. Mix. Say to our body now. There's no pants and there's no shirt. Can't be ready to get down. Push up. Everybody now. There's no pants and there's no shirt. Cancewa, ufuja wote na kakanesa, people that you went to be a long road, people that don't know what to oh, fix you up, ufuja finally come and tell you that, get to the people to master, but to put them up on the whole pillar, better you go back a pillar, but then if I can't do it, what do they say, what am I to get this out? Hey, different job. Hey, someone else. Today you want to out here, nobody close. We're trying to work, we have to go to our phone. Class in the question I ask, which go that? That'll be it. You know you want here, nobody close. We're trying to work, we have to go to our phone. Class in. Now everybody see me as a close. You know what is going to close. Nobody never be here. I'm get back in the theory. And pull up that. You know what I'm going to have this? Here's one time. Now the audience can make fun. Yeah. I'm going to tell you bro. Top of one time, what I'm saying. Again, put it on out here, nobody knows. We're trying our work, because they're going to be a post. Last year, I wish for that. Very good. Me now here, nobody close. First like I was, that 20 years old, last year, watch up right now. You know what you made them close, number in them a big here, I'm going to get them here, and I now find them here. Every other son of them will listen. If they don't go in the list, not me to go in sack. It's on 2 1 for the suit. Horse in the bed of good and outdoor clothes, and outdoor clothes, they have football clothes, and eat their clothes, you have back clothes, where you see clothes. But certain one really tighten. You want to just you know good in her. They say rubbish and push in her. You say man just come out to him tear off. You remember when the chat picture outside? No man rich for them now man. Walking after the go puncher. When you walk back, when you go man. Me not like man, me know we a guy. Can't pull up for it, man stack up in her. When I sell cook and I back up in her. In the rest of the burger, they stack up in her. I tell them that two of them stack up in her. Security doesn't say you pack up in her. Pick him the room, we sit that up in her. Put up you and you know we are nobody. I want to say this time again. Put up your hands. What is this? Hey, hold on there. You know what's the thing, man? I'm going to say a president on the stage, I'm bringing 2 artists. Unfortunately, so I'm not going to perform. When I'm going to say a president on the stage right now, God, in God in him, and in the outside, on that tree, I look on the girl and I walk past, and I know say your career. Finally, my give me the people in here. No, I'm not in there. Find Saeed Trap, please. I don't know how long time before that we can sing acapella. King Akim, you want to sing acapella to Saeed ready? Please, guys, people up. When I pretend whatever, yeah. Now let's get my present to the back of the service artist. This is talent.
Good night. In the dance right now live. Anybody have a daughter or a young sibling or a son in the place? Just make some noise. For real. I wrote this one for my virgin daughter. She born the other day, December. You see what I say? I'm singing for you a cappella, like or something like this. And now I gotta have a B-roll. 1 pound still days old. Different colors in my crayon. What are you coloring my days for? Ain't molded out of play down. Really, you're all that I care for. Oh, wow. So make me a weirdo. Ain't no kidding when I say so. That it's gonna be there for you, baby, till the time says fading. Grave digging for me, and I'm gone. Now, come now. It's a cold, cold world in the snow, go, baby. It's gonna be there for you, baby. Your mommy is home till the time things fading. It's a cruel cold world in the snow, so please don't grow up too fast, baby girl. You'll forever be my darling. And I'm always with you when you're lost, so please don't grow up too fast, baby girl. And you'll forever be my darling. And I'm always with you when you're lost. Big up.
Stand by. Now you're going to the answer to blow that cold corner, and that's the chorus that is very tricky. Sai, present yourself for the stage. The next futuristic arts of people. The youth are the future, and plus you're very futuristic. That means you're futurable.
Really like 20 years in the dance hall, a lot of people represent King Jammins. That be with him. Young life was from the friend enemy, them when we can't see when close. Enemy, we turn them in and wars. Sorry, everywhere. Flash and the pictures and the all over my bad experience of friend. All the people close they can date it. So, let's go, yeah. I know me enemy, me prayer. I just said friend them when I cheater. So mommy, please don't cry. Them can't see me die. The one of them a faker. Them can't make me run left that place, yeah. Mama, please don't cry. Them can't see me die. It happened before, in front of my eyes. Friend I kill friend, and it don't feel right. See me a smile, me feel cut up inside. Friend I pray my life, but then me pray that the world will not be cheer. Pray that that demon them the way I play. If you miss me, you will step in a year. You will make it sing sweet like a Mariah. If I want to see me for a level, we will stop that deal when be a job. Sharp like razor, fake friend the teacher like Taylor. No shot the bird like Taser. I know me enemy me afraid. I just said friend them when I cheater. So mommy please don't cry. Them can't see me die. The one that take a faker. Them can't make me run this that place. Mama please don't cry. You know why mama come? We have people that come for we vampire, we drink your blood Campari. Me have friends telling me used to Campari. Every move from me make nobody a story. Me have me use them and come for me. So then they put on no gold pound for me. Vampire, we drink your blood Campari. Them agree with the Oscar and Shari. Yeah, we are trying righteous part. Them switching like each and them like gunshots. With them I go do when time like touchdowns in a privilege. And I'm high up top. I know me enemy me afraid. I just said friend them we are cheater. Them no say I represent. No, well active, generally.
Go up the message to it. And if they present today, we are feeling good. Tell them, kind of what I say, at the closing part of the performance, I would have given them a 5 minutes outside. And I'm saying, I have to respect everybody who has support Mr. Napi go hard working female through the years, you know what I'm saying? So it's a hard work and perseverance that are the key to success. And them say you can't get stronger until you acknowledge your weak point and not at all we are do. I remember that small mind subdued by misfortune, but a great mind rise up both. We are talking about before. But play everything big boss. I select I don't know what I give. Start with my culture, you know what I say? Respect to each and every individual. Jump so I give yourself by it. No, I don't want to, you know. We can't really play it. I am going here. I'm starting the journey. I'm going to do this right now. We're going to keep it last minute, we're going to keep it. We're going to keep staying. Yeah. Let's do that saga. Big up yourself. Big up yourself. You have some taxi man on the road. You can know respect people. I want to know by myself, who am I saying? See, stop. You have taxi man in your daughter. Who was the daughter? My house is because of a daughter. I look at your data. Who will you not know when you're not getting that data? But you're not giving the data. You know what I'm doing for your daughter. I look at your data. Who will you not know when you're not getting that? You say, you're not opening it. I don't know if you have a open and around it, but I didn't mean I got to come around it. I'm just kidding with that. Different track again. And God said, I'm going to we are lost in our God. You know what I'm saying? Turn it down. People, I'm going to sing to this. Now what I name? Now God, me know that. God, I'm going to go on it. Check. And I think people are going to use the vantage. Every car I meet the person say I did this. And if you will live for me, I'm going to vantage. In a land when them sick, they can't sit. No call me not that do them call it that. No I be local now for it that. But it's a pastor them a carry that. I want them to know and I'm doing that. No call me not that do them call it that. No I be local now for it that. But it's a civilian a carry that. I want them to know and I'm doing that. People from our people, Banda, see I'm gonna pass people so for one. Try enter up in the money, Banda, you can hear about it. Pull up that. Lost and low to each and every individual. I'm lost and boss and I'm closing like this. Somebody tell me how they country around, sir. How they get to use them for not done, sir. Now it's a come and wash wedding when I run, sir. The them target level. Twitter get rougher. Tougher when I turn no coffee. Jala get buffer. Piggy I get no far. When I say people go far. Soon them a suffer. No to now boss ya. Get to it a cost ya. One just burn up for what them enemies a toss ya. Jala by the dust ya. Burn down like Osha. Place I get worse up. End up like Osha. One hit a pusher. It a shoot brusher. Time I get harder. Going that one carrier. Pick it that rain a little girl when go sadder. Please not kill the border. Treat nothing no harder. Every day the rasta man a shake at the barber. Man be the daughter. Say she brother. When you be the body call the father. Grandfather. See that body. Love her up.
That's a massive general. Please make welcome Dr. Michelle Hall, and she will take it from here.
Greetings, dancehall massive. Greetings, everyone. I am Dr. Candia Michelle Hall, colleague of the dancehall queen, Professor Donna Hope. I am quite pleased to moderate this panel discussion to celebrate Professor Hope's seminal text in the dancehall, power culture, and the politics of identity in Jamaica. It has already been established this late. The book is relevant today more than ever, as it sits at the intersection of conversations that we're still having: gender, sexuality, and violence, and it really plays an important role for we understand identity politics in Jamaica and the struggles for cultural power. For tonight's theme, we're not just talking about music, because as Professor Hope has shown us, dancehall is more than music. We're talking about the living cultural archive, repository of memory, music as a preserver and witness of culture, which documents Jamaican social life, identity, creativity, and struggles across time. It is in fact my honor to introduce this illustrious panel of cultural pioneers, practitioners, and cultural thinkers, cultural heavyweights, as we would say. We are really in the presence of greatness. I want to quickly, but not take up all of your time, to introduce our panelists. Lloyd King Jamie James. Well known, better known as King Jamie, a legendary Jamaican producer and record producer. Please feel welcome to enter the podium and take your seat. Also, Amilcar Lewis, a firm believer in the value of documenting, curating, and preserving Jamaican music and the culture. Please feel welcome. And of course, Sanjay Ramanan, a multifaceted Jamaican cultural practitioner whose work spans performance, media production, and cultural entrepreneurship and event development, and so much more. We can say producer of Magnum Kings and Queens of Dancehall. He is the owner of Belle 23, and so on and so forth. Sanjay, are you prepared? And of course, last but certainly not least, the scholar for whom we have all gathered to commemorate and to celebrate, the queen of Inna the Dancehall, the remarkable and the prolific Professor Donna Hope, and my colleague in the Institute of Caribbean Studies. So the panel is divided into 4 sections. And for our first section, we're trying to understand your personal positioning within the dancehall culture. I want to bring all of the panelists into this introductory question. We know that dancehall has shaped Jamaican culture for decades, and there are many theories out there on dancehall. But before we dive into the theories, I want to understand where you are located, your grounding in relation to that song. So I want to know where you stand in the dance, essentially. From your vantage point, how do you step in the vibes as creator, as curator, or cultural worker? What is your connection to dancehall? I will start with King Jam.
Connection to dancehall.
Not that one. Give him a mic.
Yes, you asked the question.
Yes, Mike, yes. Yes, I heard you ask the question. What's my connection to dancehall? Well, I am the producer who feedback. Yes. Right. Yes. Frequency, yeah. Right. Yes. As I was saying that I'm the producer who made the rhythm that initiated the first big dancehall hit, that's Anna Slim thing. And I've been producing a lot of dancehall. All the artists, the young artists, I bust out the most young artists in a dancehall. From that time to this time. So it's called the dancehall godfather.
Alright, greetings, I'm Amilcar Lewis. Well, my connection to dancehall is that I, myself and my family created a publication 20 years ago, same way called Akayad Magazine at bakayad.com.
And then from that, we created just a series of tours that we showcase Kingston through music. So we go to Rockers, Tough Gun, Jammies, Tubbies, all the places that people want to go and see. We created that as come from the fantasy. So that's my connection to dance.
Professor Ho?
I remain in the dance hall as a researcher, as a writer, as a teacher, as a scholar, and I suppose as a guide because I also have these field trips that sometimes we have like 3 coastal buses of people, not the students, who feel that I should guide them into these spaces at midnight and they are really apparently feel safer because I am an inside outsider. So I do a lot of things and I'm grateful. And of course I'm here at this University of the City on the campus where I do my day job. Thank you.
Ultimately, I feel like I'm just a dancehall fan. I'm a professional, lifelong dancehall fan. And so, as a fan, we engage with the genre in as many different facets as we can. I'm an artist, firstly, and then after doing that for many years and not making any money, you find other ways to, accommodate. So then we got into TV production. So as mentioned earlier, I'm as one of the producers for Malcolm Kings and Queens of Dancehall. From there, I knew that TV don't last so long, so I figured I had to start a business. So eventually made a dancehall themed guest house called Belle 23. And then from there, we got into events. So I have a weekly dance hall event called Dance_All Fridays, every Friday on Happy Park Road. We also have a dance festival called Dancehall Mecca that we do twice a year. And we also have a dancehall queen competition called Queen of the Mecca, where women come from all over the world to compete every year.
You've been around for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get your perspective on how dancehall has evolved through your life. What are some of the changes that you see in the world of dancehall today?
Well, when dancehall first started, we had a different type of dancehall than what we have now. Those days, we used to have dancehall and people even dance in the dancehall with women. You know what I mean? So, nowadays, so much of that people dancing, the dance band, So I think that the dancehall of the 80s and the 90s was a different dancehall from the younger generation dancehall that is going on now. In terms of lyrical contents and entertainment wise. Dancing.
Is there anything that has changed significantly that you would wish had not changed?
Well, you must have changed in the business. I'm not bashing anything. You must have changed because different generation come along. So you will have changed that, you know what I mean? But I'm not up to every change that I hear nowadays. But I won't comment on that,
Thank you. I got that. Panelists, we often hear that dancehall is a mirror of the society. That dancehall is a reflection of the Jamaican society. But as King Jamie said a while ago, mirrors change sometimes. What exactly is dancehall reflecting today? Can we speak about this? And this question is to all the panelists. What exactly is dancehall reflecting today?
Ever since it was,
All of you. You want to have this question too? Brilliant. Yes.
No, I was going to say, the dancehall is the voice of the people from ever since its inception. So, as you say, what it reflects in society, reflects in music. It depends on also the market that they're trying to get into. Even more, trying to understand the markets that they're trying to sell to. Before, it's all about coming forward and putting out the music is a business, and the business have to sell the music and to sell the content. So for the most part, it's a reflection of society and what they're trying to put out to the world from here. You know, because it's important to know how small relatively Jamaica is, and the map that what we actually have is massive, much larger than what we have as a people. We're like what 2.8 million people, and then you have diaspora that's an additional 2.8 million people. If you look, but you have people who are supplying people in Brazil that are 7 million people. Well, people in England that are 50 million people. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of Japan and all that and things like that. So and like 100 million people. So we have a large voice. So we have all society that we're talking about and then we try to reflect what happens in the world as well. So it is the voice of the people and you have a large voice to expose the world.
What culture, we love our culture. I go back to try to use it.
Exactly.
Sunday, Jamaica to the world. Yes.
I just skip that.
I say what it's
No, I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like my answer to this question is almost connected to the question, my answer for the question you're asking, Jam, is that one of the things that I wish didn't change so much was the authentic sound of dancehall. I feel like no, but I don't want to sound like an old man again. I actually love dancehall. I love it in all its shapes, sizes, and forms, and yeah, I love where it is now too. But one of the things I think is a little bit unfortunate is that I feel like we've evolved too much in the lane of somebody else's culture. Instead of, let me think. It's like, I feel like dancehall could have evolved more in its own lane than evolving as much as it did in the lane of hip hop. And I think what's happening now, but I don't blame you said no, because at the end, this is the first generation of the burden and responsibility of consciously creating. Every generation of dancehall practitioners before them, we were insulated. Like we had one TV station and maybe a handful of radio stations. So what we heard, what we created was what we grew up hearing, what we were hearing. That generation that they might grow up is the globalization generation. So to me, that is what the dancehall knows, and to answer your current question, that is what dancehall knows reflecting globalization. Because when you hear with dancehall artists, they are sing about popping pills, that's in our culture. When you hear them sing about, and even some of the rhythms there where you hear how they kick them drop. And that's that from dancehall make till now, dancehall has never dropped like that before. That's more how hip hop dropped. So as I said, one thing I wish didn't change as much was the evolution in somebody else's cultural direction. But what I'm happy about now, when you look at some of the recent, like how Stephen the Genius just dropped the ring and the Hill and Gully rhythm, it almost seems like there's been a conscious effort to revive that aspect of our culture. So I'm happy about that.
I'm going to pull some question again because yes.
So we're asking about change and that mirror that dancehall reflects back from the society. What would you have hoped had not changed?
Honestly, because I have learned to balance a lava ground, so whatever is coming and floating along with it like a surfer, and I think I am grateful for a lot of the changes now because I talk about democratization of access. More people have better access because the culture and the technology has changed. And so more people are able to, for example, voice and have a voice and be seen than they were able to before because of the kind of technologies that exist. Whether they are going to be able to be seen through the digital projects, the YouTube, the TikTok, and also to have access to creating their sound. And so for me, it has exploded because of that. So the kind of barriers to access where you had limitations as to where you have to find each producer. A lot of the guys back in the day used to be a producer place and they done a sweat. They ride up on the shop with the big box and carry the box and sweat and they just select all of mic. they kind of have a different level of access, and so more people are able to be seen and heard. And I think for me that's very important in terms of what is happening. But when we talk about going to hip hop, for me I talk about something called reverse cross fertilization. Because hip hop comes from, it's we to set up what is hip hop now. Still is something now. When they look at the history of Grandmaster Flash, what they were doing in the Bronx and all of that, I feel it's something you have to see that our sound system, culture, cool her, and so what I see coming is a kind of connection with the black public culture. When I'm in Europe, I remember being in Yam Club and they have these three levels. There's one level where they play all of the black music, them in their minds, the hip hop and the dancehall and the Afro, they were all playing them on the same floor because in their minds in Berlin, in Germany, it is one motion. You see what I'm saying? And so they are connecting who we are as black people and Africans in the diaspora through this song. So there is that connection where we are speaking back to ourselves who had gone somewhere else and come back in a different package. So I understand why they start sounding like pieces of themselves that in the past had gone over the wall. So I understand why, because there's always been one motion in that regard. Many people want us to return, I think, Sanjay, to the earlier songs, but technology has changed. The people the lives that they're living has changed, and so we are going to sound different and move differently in the lives that we are living now. I mean, these things like these have become very important. And I mean, I was watching people here holding up their phones, going live, and I'm getting messages from people in Canada and in England and in Brazil who are watching the live that we are in now. It's a different world and our species have expanded. So everything is changing. Probably need to call it something different, and you're probably not dancing anymore. Yeah, that's really what we should be looking at.
So what we have here, audience, is a wonderful debate conversation. Two different sides of the coin, with the lens of dancehall. It's also happening. First of all, I want to say with you, you have argued that dancehall is repository. It is cultural text, it is cultural archive. What exactly is dancehall preserving? Is it memory, is it identity, struggle, pulse?
For my research, it's doing many things at the same time. So it's not one thing. So it's not just about entertainment. And I think when I entered dancehall culture as a researcher and not as a fan, remember I was a fan in these cases in, Club Jamaica and all of that. But when I entered this as a researcher and began to look critically, it was more than entertainment. So it was quarreling with the society, sharing desires of the people in dancehall. We want money, we want house money here, and we have to buy. Everybody and a couple artists came up here and talk about buying car for mama and house for mama. We want to live the good life as it is presented to us. What is the good life? And we ask for that money, lyrical money, materialistic things. So what dancehall is doing is different things on different levels. So it is entertainment, yes, but it is also desire. It is identity. It is men telling you that me am more man because I have more woman. Woman like me, even though I may not take care of children very well. But me am more man because I'm more of a, and this is a way I can tell you that being a man is important because there's very little else for me to see through. So it is helping people to shape who they are and to spread ideas about who they are in a society where sometimes people are not getting the same level of access because the system is stratified. Some people at the top, they have more, some people in the middle have a little bit less, and then at the bottom, a lot of people are still struggling to figure it out. So dancehall has opened a lot of opportunities for people to have a voice. So it's many things all at the same time, and we just have to listen critically depending on where we are coming from.
Wonderful. Clara, I want to come to you. So you mentioned that you have done work with the Backyard magazine and the Striking Museum. I wanted to get your sense of how you approach preserving culture that is as dynamic and fluid as that. So you heard some of the professional response a while ago. It is dynamic, it is fluid. How do we preserve that?
Well, I traffic in nostalgia. So, so basically, for me, is that everything I do with the magazine and the website is a time capsule. So we're trying to capture people at the moment, at that particular time, at a particular moment, and hopefully it's something that they can look back on and feel good. For example, I would say that we catch artists normally on the way up. So we're on the way up, they give them a little feature, they look into the thing and they say, okay, this is what I was feeling at the time. And for example, what's this? Yeah, the Star Wars cover that we did that, shot it at my mother's house and everything like that. And he went as stars to me now and said, boy, you was the first feature never get. The first time somebody will come here and say, look, we get a feature because rated music and that kind of thing. You can look on it now and say, this is what I was feeling at the time. This is the type of music I was doing at the time. And now I move forward, but I still remember these times. We had a dancer from the community, Sample 6. He came in the magazine, and luckily for him, when he went to the his visa appointment, yeah, we went to the visa appointment and said, boy, he was a dancer, and people were asking, boy, he a dancer, and he said, no man, it's me in the magazine, and him getting visa because of it, and he used to call me and say, well, the company committee come here, Ahmed, because of here. They say, Ahmed, so we get $1.50, we know so we come up for and we come back, give thanks to you in the magazine, because that was at his moment at the time. He always give me a because he said, you see what I do, you come from Barbican, you're Barbican youth, you see what you do thing here. You give me a chance to put the magazine and help me get my visa, help me get that thing there, so we can move forward like that. So, and as a space in itself, when you come on to we do reviews of music and things like that, and we can actually look back and say, in this time period that all these rhythms come out, these songs are good, these songs are classic, and it remains to this day, So that is how we preserve the culture because we can actually look back on that.
This brings me to we've been talking about the archives and for the online audience. What exactly is an archive? When we say that we might risk losing data, information on dancehall, it is not preserved. What exactly is an archive?
So when I learned about archives at the beginning of my timeline learning, I learned about an archive as like a collection of artifacts, mainly something related to history. That's what I remember learning about an archive as, and it was a physical location, usually you want to look at things. But as you come forward, you understand that an archive is just different ways of recording and preserving for generations who are not present, generations who are present, so they have access to information. And it doesn't have to always be in a kind of hard product form. It can be digital, it can be oral, so we have a lot of different types of archives that we are building. And we also have archives that are not located in a building in that way. So it's online where we can access information and knowledge and historical as well as current knowledge about different areas, culturally or otherwise, that are important in society. So because of the reach of cyberspace on the digital frontiers, a lot of us have begun to make sure that there's information made available and also accessible to individuals who have an interest in Jamaican culture. Jamaican culture is very, very attractive to people who want to live here. We don't speak our language. All the travel foreign and the clothes I wear not a Jamaican colors and I travel. I want everything. And they stop you and they say, Bob Marley to say more. I'm Hussein, and they're saying it in French and Spanish. And they ask about the culture and they ask about ganja. They ask about ganja. I've been a give request to arrange for people to come to Jamaica and live in a ganja field. Yes, I should arrange a tour. They want to live in a ganja field in the earth because the ones that they know are hydroponic. So I arranged.
There's no police in here.
So dancehall is owned by who? Is it that dancehall is owned by Jamaica? It's quite a controversial question. I'm pushing now. Who owns dancehall? King Jack. Who owns dancehall? The artists, the producers, the streets, the global market, the people, the diaspora, foreigners. Who owns dancehall?
Well, I would have to say Jamaican own dancer because it was created in Jamaica. And Jamaica great, you know what I mean? And other places are not. You know, you guys don't call a genre of music too. But we don't truly a Jamaica to originate, as far as I'm concerned.
That's it. And that's the whole answer. That's it. Amilcar, do you wish to jump in?
Well, yeah, Jamaica, I question like the Jamaica, but this is that answer. But yeah, it's we creative, we have it here, we have, that's why it's important that we have all these archives, we have the museums, we have all these things to make sure that people know that when they come here, they can actually see and feel and understand where the thing coming from. Jamie is a big soul man, hypo, so he that's a big part of how the music is spread, or dancehall is spread, show the whole globe. So these are things that we need to. These are actually, I would say, sound system is probably our I would say our local instrument that we push out the music to the world, and these are the things that we can use to archive and hold ourselves, hold the music. I would say hold the music for ourselves and then push it out to the world. To make people understand that we own this, we keep this relevant. We also have a good idea of how I would say we're coming from, where we can push it through.
Thank you.
Here's one more thing I want to say. The name dancehall, that was here long before the genre dancehall music. Because back in the days when I used to ride my bicycle, go down and Foresters Hall and North Street and all of the dance all the night time, just to go listen to my song, Duke Lee. I was going to the dance hall to listen to those dance. So that was the name, dance hall before the genre. The genre came in 1985 when the same thing really born. That was the first big dance hall. I don't know any other dance hall genre really before that. So that to show that it's a long time the name dancehall originated in Jamaica.
Dancehall is deeply connected to the space.
Yes.
Sanjay, would you wish to weigh in?
I don't know what else I could answer. That's an interesting question. It's kind of complicated too. Of course, Jamaica own dancehall as the creators, but we've also created many other things that we don't own anymore, like the Pascal. We're basically almost on the verge of losing reggae. We don't own reggae anymore. Like Matty Siao, who are probably the number one selling reggae artist right now, is a Jewish youth. So I don't know. It's an interesting question. We own a lot of. We own it. We own the full own dancehall for now, and until as Donna said, we have this new thing sound like it deserves its own title as well too. So literally from now, we have owned that, and then we probably have allowed dancehall as well, and then dancehall will probably be owned by somebody else at that time too. I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I don't know what ownership of a genre really means or title. But we've had many genres that we've created and we don't own them anymore. So.
That question vexed me all the time when they ask me.
Sorry.
That question upset me because let me tell you why. The biggest reggae shows happen in Europe. Let me just make it clear. The most books have been written about any music product in Jamaica is about Bob Marley, and most of them are written by non-Jamaicans in all kind of language. I've edited a lot of manuscripts. None of them are from this side of the world. And those are things that are acknowledged and that are being held in repositories. And I watched dancehall, which I grew up dancing to, become a product that is all over the world. I travel all over the world and I see dancehall artists who are not Jamaican. I see dancehall products that wear these colors that are wearing on hand, the Jamaican colors all over the world. People doing dances, people doing choreographies, people doing many things, and they're not from Jamaica, and the cultural creators are neither mentioned or authenticated. So I have a thing where I talk about indigenous versus authentic, because I have many sisters and brothers in dancehall now who are not from Jamaica, but they are creating various dancehall products, and we have to take off it as it is. They have dancehall camps, they have dancehall products, they have dances, they have events, they have all kinds of things. They don't, their native language is not always, they don't look like us, but they are also authenticating dancehall in different ways. Hashtag, I say hashtag dancehall family. It has expanded, so who owns dancehall? The indigenous creators are here, but the authenticated creators and owners and producers are all over the world. And this is similar to other cultural forms that we have created, the dynamism and the organism, and it can move in different ways. So it's all over the world. So there's a huge community of dancehall people, the dancehall dance family, the dancehall queen family, our dancehall people, and later and others. Some of them are on this thing. In the Philippines, in Australia, these are people in Asia, all over, in Egypt, all in Greece, Maggie in Berlin, these people, Joanna in Sweden, there's a whole lot of people all over the world, and they are dancehall people, and they're not Jamaican, and they are creating products, and they are producers of culture, and they come here all the time, because again, as King Danny and America keeps reminding us, they love the culture body, and all over the world it is respected and loved.
Oh, no, I was saying to about Sanjay, he's right about the scam situation because we have so many people coming from all over the world to learn about the origins of scam. And I would tell them that nobody really plays scam anymore out here, as younger people. They have scam festivals around the world, and people really going into the instrumental place of that space, I should say. And it's a shame because it goes back to what we as Jamaicans put value to. I would say for the most part, a lot of Jamaicans don't really care about keeping the music for us. It's more like, okay, how much money we can make from this, how much money we can make from that. We're not really trying to see how we can preserve these kind of things. Because there's no reason why somebody should come from overseas and learn and know more about our culture and and that happens all the time. And you ask the person there, like, who is Lloyd Brevet, I don't know who it is, or somebody from Maine can tell you who it is and understand which songs in play upon and everything. That shouldn't happen. That should never happen as a country that lives off of the music. We should have like every Jamaican should at least know the origins of these genres. Because there's all genres. Mento, ska, reggae, dub, dancehall, everything, these are ours. Rocksteady, sorry for your rocksteady is a big genre, but yeah, I mean, you have to understand these things that anything that upset them more well because obviously it's something that you can see why it's right, okay, so things move on as generations move on, but we should never move on with them things. These things are ours as a country which really put more thing in that.
So I want to push the envelope a little bit further. You mentioned, all of you, that dancehall is all over the world. Globalization appears to have hurted dancehall more than anything else. Has globalization diluted dancehall?
Maybe, because some of the dancehall producers here in Jamaica then incorporate other music into the dancehall. As Sandra was saying, so it kind of water down the real dancehall. You know what I mean? So if it's, Lena Sanders and the dancehall thing, it would get watered down, to be just the original dancehall.
Like the concept. We want a dog, it's not staying in its lane. Sunday, what do you say? Who wants to go? Avatar?
Alright, remind me what the question is.
Has globalization diluted dancehall?
It's a hard, it's a tough question because globalization is the reason why that's to that certain level where it is now. However, there is a thing where as Sanjay and Mr. Jami explained, is that you can go too far in trying to replicate a song that is not ours. Hip hop song, even though hip hop can be ours too, in a sense, and whatever, But it's all about innovation, you know, the first one to make a carnival is not the only one making a carnival. So dancehall is open to everybody to have the interpretation. For us as Jamaicans, we should always repent for our roots. And I think that is the only thing that is really stopping that, because too many producers trying to sell out too quickly and not keeping the original sound and original thing going, because if they had stayed to that, it would sell out eventually, because there's no producer that can sit down and say, put out a song and you know you're going to be a definite repeat. You put out songs and you hope and praise and people like it. And most of the time, when people like the thing is because it sound like dancehall. Everything in the song watered down, so whatever you do, you can try your best with it and the word goes.
Yeah, I mean, I expressed my opinion about that earlier. I definitely think globalization has had a big impact on dancehall and the sound of dancehall. I feel like, I mean, my only thing is that dancehall has established itself as such a distinct song worldwide. That people have Justin Bieber copying and all these major pop Drake and all these major pop stars. So clearly there's something to it still. I feel like there's a way that it can be done in a contemporary way, which we've seen recently with, as I mentioned earlier, with the resurgence of some of these rhythms like Kulangola rhythm from Genius, Big Bones rhythm from again Zimmy. These are authentic dancehall drops, authentic dancehall sounds done in a contemporary way. No hip hop influence. This is what dancehall could sound like in the contemporary age right now. And those videos had massive impact. They resonated massively in Jamaica. So it's not that there's not that lane or there's not that path that's possible to have a modern sounding era of dancehall. It's just like we said, globalization. Most of the people who are making music now grew up on cable and grew up on internet, and they're exposed to the machinery of America. They're exposed to the marketing machinery of America that no dancehall producer can compete with. When you think in terms of how to market, there's no dancehall reggae Jamaican music label that has the marketing power of a Sony, of a Universal, so they're exporting their culture in a way that is influencing our creators. And that's why I said this generation have a responsibility that none of us had, because they have the responsibility of preservation of our sound, preservation of our culture. We were just making music. They now have to consciously say, yo, we could go back for that a long time we don't do a dancehall song in rhythm. We could go back for the Ilangola rhythm. We could go back for that. They have to be consciously doing that. We never had that responsibility.
So, I just want to say though, one of the things that is old, because I remember when in the early days when we were younger and they were doing rhythms, it was a few rhythms coming out. So you kind of knew, we knew the rhythm by the first two songs. First, as the first two, like taxi rhythm and Joyride, we know the rhythm, we just hear the piece and know the rhythm by heart. You see, nowadays, everybody are dealing with it. So what happens is that there's so much competition for your eyes and your ears in dancehall. Everything is over, so it is causing a lot of there's a confusion of the productions. A lot of it going on, people are chopping very quickly. That has also some of the challenges that we are facing with it right now, because everybody has so much access that there's a whole lot of something going on. Back in the day, you'd have a rhythm, like you see that the rhythm, everybody run on it. Different rhythms coming out, some rhythms, everybody run on it, and you know this is this rhythm. This is what is happening with the rhythm, and you can identify that with all the artists will be on that rhythm. Nowadays, I've stopped trying to keep track of the rhythms that are coming home. Because I'm saying there with the dance style, I used to know dance styles. Now everybody's making a dance style because it's a market and it's competitive, and because of that you have such a proliferation that it's difficult to keep track of it. And we can have to wrap up, because the president we have to wrap up and talk, but yes.
How much people used to line up in the studio to record?
Yeah, what I was going to say is that the rhythms nowadays, you don't have enough melody to catch the people and move. That is one of the things what goes these dancers is so exciting. As you say about the rhythm. The rhythm was melodious, and the drop beats, it can trigger something like just move right away. But nowadays, as I said, the rhythm is not danceable. I'm not really We don't know, you know, I mean, that different type of dance that we make.
So, in one
That
minute,
dance only to me.
awesome. Each of you, 1 minute. What would you say the future of dancehall look like? What would you say the future of dancehall look like? 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Well, the future of dancehall, I can't tell what it look like now, but I know if you have good producers, you know, who still are musical inclined, you know, making rhythms and making songs, it would be great, you know, because we'll have some good songs coming out.
Yeah, the future, I mean, depends how far in the future we're talking, but I see that, I would say more access, more people coming up, more people, I guess, rallying back on rhythms that have worked in the past and songs that worked in the past and expanding upon that. So, as we're talking about these things now, the water down, these things are cycles, so for the most part, I think that more people going back to a sound that worked in the past. You might hear some people make back some some scare sound and other thing to try and catch back that kind of vibe because again, whatever sells is what is important for the music business. And if you're not selling, you have to try something else. You know, so that's what happening.
Thank you.
For me, dancehall is at an end stage, and we're looking almost into the belly of our new music for, we have been there for some time. And I think that is what is happening right now, where people going back to songs that are coming from like coming and into all of that, you feel absolutely right. Dance, what we know as dancehall as a sound and as a culture is changing and has changed. But we have not yet decided to name it something, so they're calling it trap dancehall and all of that. But there's a difference in how people are presenting themselves and the music, and so we are looking at a kind of end stage, coming to that, and hopefully we'll be able to name it adequately. But for now, we're still calling it dancehall. But it has changed, and it will continue to change until we decide to name it. The culture and the sound for what it is. The lyrics remain similar, but the sound and the cultural activity has changed, and we have to be brave enough to begin to look forward to see what will come out of this period.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what everybody on the panel just said a while ago. I feel like the future of dancehall is very fluid. You know, I mean, it's very evolving, it's ever changing, and it's always representative of the Jamaican experience. The world is changing. You know what I mean? And Jamaica and dancehall is changing with it, and we're adapting and we're expressing ourselves from our unique perspective.
Yes. This was such a great panel. Dancehall is not something that you just listen to, it's something that is being remembered and, of course, preserved and carried forward. Do we have any questions at this time? Comments at least one or two? Basically, I know we will take one or two.
Microphone?
Yes. Is there a microphone that can go all the way there?
Could I ask questions? I think the question of ownership that came up earlier, there are two parts to that. Relates to the issue of land and stuff. When you think of ownership versus origin, so I would think of dance as originating here versus or owning it. The same thing with the language question. The less you think of ownership and the more you think of origin, is the better you deal with the question of authenticity and so on. Because if you're thinking that you're going to be owning a language, for instance, the language goes nowhere. The languages that go everywhere that you don't own are the best example of the language succeeding. The same thing with the music. The fact that it has gone everywhere says that it has succeeded, and that's what is more important than taking ownership of the item.
Thank you. Another comment or question very quickly right here. Yes.
Yeah, well, I don't know. A long time I have so we just wait. That said, Richard Pasley, former student from Institute of Cultural Studies, hopefully PhD student soon. Dancehall has definitely evolved, and what I've seen is that the genre is evolving into a state where people are mimicking the American culture. Hip hop, though it came from Cool Herc, the truth is Jamaicans trying to do hip hop have not crossed over successfully. The authentic dancehall artists like Shabba, them man from those are the ones who cross over. And that is authentic dancehall. I'm not seeing much of the trap dancehall artists crossing over, probably still them as the only one. So we need to understand what we have, value what we have, and preserve what we have. That's my
Well done. And lastly, yes?
Alright, so Surflex are here. Surflex are, who don't know Surflex are? Surflex are the artists who use much by the most, I don't know the last grade one. Surflex as artists who use some fucking things, drive on the same ones. Surflex is artists who, after that, I work, they want the jeans from show. Whenever artists want to appear for hand stage, we do already and hear them. So more appear for talk show program and she put me there. I'm going to do talk show. I was here, we want to go there, reach the answer. Alright, so I don't want to say it's not just for everything, just that whatever. We really want time for especially to my beautiful friend. And son, there's no need to worry about the new we have born in the hip hop. Normally believe I born like dancehall already. You know why? It never born. They were trying to be born and never born. It's I don't want to know that. In a rich VH1 TV. You know, see, I get a movie soundtrack. BT respond to black reggae dancer. You know, see, nobody done that about here. That means they were trying to ban and no ban. So there's no need to worry. It's dead. It's dead that I want to see. Alright, watch this out. They're using, there's a controversy going on good down in Rwanda. Who's the record song in Murderer from 1993? Murderer! Bro, this on your shoulder. Movie company just reach out for that song in the movie soundtrack. But yes, still, there's a chat normally the beat were trying to run in the place and then reach out to them in a movie soundtrack. That means not going nowhere in there. And in the band, so stop worrying about it. Yes, stop worrying about it.
It's still born. It's still born. Thank you. That's how we way to put it. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. It was an excellent panel and moderator, chair. I return the mic on back
Wow, credit to the persons who have stood the time. It shows that truly you are fans of dancehall. So there is refreshments provided. So I want you to take comfort in that. We want to begin by expressing our deepest appreciation to Professor Donna Hope, whose visionary work made this gathering possible. Your scholarship has not only shaped academic discourse from, it has affirmed the cultural legitimacy of a space that many once misunderstood. To our keynote speaker, Professor Carlin Cooper, thank you for your powerful insights and your continued role in amplifying Caribbean voices. We extend heartfelt thanks to all our presenters, panelists, contributors, scholars, cultural practitioners, industry voices. And we cannot forget the performers who we saw this evening, because while we've been engaging in intellect, you remind us that dancehall has not only been studied, it must be felt. You brought the living archive to life in a way no text alone could never do. To our partners and supporters, including the UA Press, the Institute of Caribbean Studies, and the Faculty of Humanities and Education, we thank you for your continued commitment to Caribbean knowledge production and cultural scholarship. At this point, allow me to extend very special acknowledgments to the team behind the scenes, the individuals and groups whose work ensured that tonight moved from concept to reality. Special thanks to the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities and Education, Dr. Dean Edward Starr, as well as to Ms. Simpson for spearheading the Faculty Resources. We also want to acknowledge Jack Soa, dancehall videographer, and the crew of 2,000 photographs, well, along with our media houses who help to capture and amplify this moment. Our sincere appreciation to Mrs. Hensley and the social welfare team for catering, and to Brian Fletcher for providing seamless streaming services. We've got Striker Jr. from the Striker Lee Museum for contributing prizes, and also extend gratitude to Tanya Francis, Camille Robinson of Academic Press, and Bertrand Hope for their support. We acknowledge the Institute of Caribbean Studies team, including Renika Myers and Geraldine Hofall, along with the director Dave Goss, as well as, of course, Denise Howard, who brought greetings on behalf of Dr. Goss for their leadership and coordination. Students, for those who are here, audience, thank you. Events like these will only come alive because your presence, your energy, and your willingness to engage. So, please stay with us for cocktails, and the book signing is happening outside because the true Jamaican fashion, the conversation will really end. It will install. Good night, safe travel.
Thank you, wonderful moderators. Thank you so much.